Got a burp. Not coming. Definitely need to burp. We got this, which I promise you is not drugs or drug money, and this. There's other things. I think this is what I have time to get through. This is from a good Twitter friend, Pat, Pwaent, at before, Pwaent. Banzai Breaks, I believe, be up and running at some point. They'll be doing some big case breaks and things like that. But this is just a random act of kindness. This, I have no idea what it is. Which I shouldn't say too loudly. I think my wife's in the other room. She should probably think I know what I'm buying when I do things. But this is all freebies. Pat and I do just trade a bunch of stuff back and forth. He tends to do more of a twins, and his son, I believe, is a big Vladimir Guerrero, Bo Bichette, Blue Jays type of fan, and I normally don't really have much of a problem with the Blue Jays. In fact, the Blue Jays are one of the first teams that I didn't dislike. First team I ever bet on. I bet on the Blue Jays in the 1992 World Series? 93. I forget which. I bet with a well-known political commentator's son that the Blue Jays would beat the Phillies. I believe that was the team. Who did they beat in the first one? I can't remember. Either way, this child who went to St. Albans, which is a terrible school, sue me, St. Albans, never paid. Never paid. Seems to turn out into a good guy, to be honest. From what I've heard about him, his dad was an asshole, as most of the political folks tend to be. But we've got a pretty sweet old school Eddie Murray. 84? Yep, 84. Barely alive at this point. I like the bottom photo. Look at that. He's just like... Reminds me a little bit of Carl Weathers in Happy Gilmore, where there's just like a little bit of hope and optimism when you know you're working with fools. And I believe by this point, Eddie Murray kind of knew that the Orioles organization was on the downward spiral. 1984, obviously. They won the World Series in 1983, but since then it's been a bit of a goose egg. Bit of a goose egg is an understatement. It's been an entirety of goose eggs. We've had some good stretches. This is a sweet... I don't know if I have this All-Star one. This is 85, I believe. I think that's 85. It's the same-ish design, but I think it's 85. It's a nice card. I love Eddie Murray. Just very unapologetic star who was before his time, I think, in being an unapologetic star. You couldn't normally be an outspoken player back in the day. What do we got going on here? I like to forget about the Albert Bell era. Not really for any... This is a cool card, and not really for any of Albert Bell's faults, just because that was post-98. The Orioles were just a terribly run organization. They splurged on Bell and Tejada and Scott Erickson, but didn't really put any of the work they needed to into building the farm system, doing international scouting, and a bunch of other things that would actually create long-term success and longevity. And as we saw, the 2000s were pretty miserable. I don't think they had a very good team in the 2000s. And to this day, if you look at like WAR totals for like pitchers that the Orioles had since 2000, I think you're looking at Daniel Cabrera still in the top 5, which is insane. But this is a sweet card. I don't have this, and I'm glad to have it. That's going up in the Manny Machado case. I love Manny Machado. He wears, or wore, 13. Probably the slickest fielder I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, I love Manny Machado. Favorite player in baseball. We got an Edwin Ripken. Fun 89 Donruss. Pretty sweet. I like that card. It's a great card. I love how the centering is just perfect. I kid. I was in a card shop in Crofton, Maryland. I was driving from the Eastern Shore to my brother's house, which is in Germantown. And there's a card shop conveniently, somewhat in between. Maybe go out of your way a little bit. And they were just selling the F out of vintage packs. And I was like, why are you selling vintage packs? And he was like, well, people are just trying to get a gem mint of anything from these. And I was like, okay, what's that pack cost? He's like, that's $7. I'm like, that's $7 for an 87 Donruss? He's like, yep. I'm like, cool. I bought some contenders for 120 bucks. I think maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. Either way, pulled a Luis Robert auto redemption, which paid for the pack, and I still have a few other things that are for sale. It's pretty sweet. Albert Bell card. I must say I don't have much Albert Bell. It was kind of like the dark zone, if you will, of my collecting days when I went to college in the 2000s. So yeah, I don't have much Albert Bell. I have no ill will. Like if they were good, I probably would have had more Albert Bell. I do think Albert Bell is a borderline Hall of Famer. I don't care one way or the other. I think the Hall of Fame is a bit of a joke now. And oh, good, we got blue tape back in there. There we go. No, I didn't pause it by accident. So whatever. With the Hall of Fame, we got a John Means rookie cup. Can't have enough of these. And I appreciate getting another one. I like to pay them forward to nephews, friends, children, just so that people know that in the year of our Lord 2019, John Means was the best pitcher in baseball. It's not true, but I like to propagandize it. Trey Mancini, come back healthy next year. It's going to be interesting to see if what they do with Chris Davis, because that's terrifying that they want to keep giving him at-bats. This is confusing. Decade's best. Baltimore Orioles. They got the 80s. I think they have... There's a Decade's best series. They're definitely in the 60s and 70s. 80s is a little rough because they won the World Series in 83, but they were, for the balance of the decade, pretty terrible as a child of the 80s who had season tickets to the Baltimore Orioles on Sundays. And I believe did not see a victory for like 3 years there. We didn't go to every Sunday, but there were times we just didn't see wins. We would sit out in August in that heat with a cooler filled with ice and rags that you could put on your head, no cover. And we would sit there and we'd watch them. We'd eat pistachio nuts and watch them lose, as they did. I saw Wilson Alvarez, I think this was the 90s though, when Wilson Alvarez no-hit them. But either way, one of my best memories was in the late 80s, they gave away starting lineup figurines. And I got myself, I forget what I got. I didn't want the player, but I traded it. Because got to trade. Traded it for a Brady Anderson, which I still have to this day. It won't stand up and it's kind of jacked up, but it's in my collection. Bobby Bonilla. I like the Bobby Bo experience with the Orioles. It wasn't bad. John Means, this is nice little turkey red. Thank you, Pat. Man, he was just itching to get rid of some Albert Bell content, huh? I don't really have any Albert Bell like insights or stories. It's weird because I hate the Indians. Because hate's a strong word, but I really, really don't like her. It's my favorite song. Yeah, like I don't really have shit to talk about the Indians. Cleveland, Detroit, Rock City, whatever, same place. Oh, that's a rough card. Rough card to see, right? Oh, that's a fun card to see. In your hometown. This is cross Canadian ragweed. They don't exist anymore. Well, exist is a weird term, right? That's a cool card. Some fat stacks in here. Some reusable gear. Oh, crap. This is dope. Look at that. I'd never heard of this card. That is Cal Ripken, Robin Yount, and Lou Whitaker. 3 Hall of Famers. I don't care if you want to tell me Lou Whitaker is not in the Hall of Fame. He is a Hall of Famer. Y'all can fuck off for not putting him in. That's one of the reasons like I hate the Hall of Fame. You have the one and dones like Kenny Lofton, and you're just rushing in people like Jack Morris when Kevin Brown is like 25 times the pitcher that Jack Morris ever was. This is a really sweet card that I thought it was like Fleer Metal for a second. I don't even know if Fleer Metal's a thing. Oh wow, the next card is really sweet too. Look at this. These are really dope, man. That is Cal Ripken. So funny story, my uncle does sound for events, and he does a popular brand sound for Pimlico, which is horse race, big horse race in Maryland. And obviously Maryland, and you know, a big Maryland-based brand. They were there doing the sound, just chilling, whatever. And Cal Ripken was there, and someone came up to my uncle or my aunt, I think one or the other, and we're like, "Oh, is that Ed or whomever, the security guard from the Jerry Springer show?" And they had to politely inform them that no, in fact, that was Cal Ripken Jr., and that they were in fact an asshole for thinking that was not Cal Ripken. This is a sweet card. Love it. Is that Frank and Boog with some sort of shitty twin in between? It is indeed. Love Frank. Love Boog. We gotta put stuff places. I'm almost done out of time. We got a Cal Ripken. Love the Fleer Ultra. Rafael Palmeiro. Not really sure what to make of him in general and his Orioles legacy. I mean, things would have been a lot different if they had won a World Series, yada, yada, yada. They didn't. Speaking of someone who things would have been differently for, Roberto Alomar, who I loved, and he's just got a very checkered past, whether it was spitting on an umpire, which seemed like there was some sort of cause there, but like the subsequent stuff that came out. I'm a huge Hanser Alberto fan. My name's Alberto. I don't have this card. This makes me very happy to have. Thank you so much. Save that. We got one of these peel-off cards. I don't get them. Someone explain the peel-off card? It's like, how could you not have OCD so much that you had to peel them off? I don't know. Nice Diamond Kings. Calvin, Edwin, Ripken, Cal Edwin Ripken Jr. We've got a lovely rookie card of my favorite Oriole, your favorite baseball player, Cedric Mullins. Baltimore team card, Stewart, Renato Nunez, that's sad, Rio Ruiz. Got a Santander, Trey Mancini, John. I think that's my favorite Orioles card of all time is in this mix. Oh man, we've got a sweet Jim Palmer. They talk about him pitching in Game 2 of the 66 World Series against Sandy Koufax. I wrote a book about the 66 Baltimore Orioles. You should read it. Jim Palmer, and I'm going to keep saying this until someone corrects me, is the only pitcher who has ever won a World Series in 3 consecutive decades. I believe that is true. Here is a Kurt Schilling. He is a fucking asshole. This is... Oh, I thought this was... That's funny. I thought that was an Eddie Murray rookie card. Almost blew my mind. It's one of the... Still cool. But this is my favorite Orioles card of all time. Bird Belters. Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, young as fuck, about to win a World Series or just had won a World Series, just winning World Series. Always winning World Series. Oh, it's a thing. But I have the real copy of this. I believe it's 67? 68, I think? I don't know. Either way, lovely card. Thank you so much for this. It is pretty damn sweet. I'm not sure what this is. Is this a phone card? I think it's a phone card. Phone card? I don't know. Call Honduras or some shit. Peace out, yo. I got shit to do. Oh, I forgot. The 89 Upper Deck. Cal.